Yo! Welcome to this episode of Blowing Smoke. I'm here with my buddy and fellow Guild Wars 2 content creator Astral as we discuss some of the story ideas we have and locations of where we would like to see new maps in the living world. So, I'll let you know up front, we do discuss spoilers, so here's your warning now. Spoilers ahead. With that out of the way, let's get to the show. End of Dragons, we finished the story. What's your overall impression of the conclusion? Like, how do you feel? Are you satisfied? Are you happy? You got some questions?
Yeah. So I mean, we are giving away spoilers here, right?
Yes. This is the thumbnail is gonna say like spoilers. Spoilers be here.
Perfect.
Yeah. This is spoiler heavy.
Yeah. So I think I'm pretty satisfied. It was a nice wrap up to the entire 10 years or so that we've had of Guild Wars 2. If you want to go back to the first teaser at the end of Eye of the North and the good 13 years that we've had with the Elder Dragons.
To think it's been that long. They've been teasing it since Eye of the North. It goes.
Yeah, long time.
Oy.
Long time.
Yep.
But I think it was good. I'm really happy to see that each dragon came back for the end of it. Obviously it wasn't their physical form or like technically them, but the Dragon Void taking each of their shape and throwing their abilities out just kind of gave each one a nice last hurrah. I literally teared up when fighting the 5 of them because it was just such a trip down memory lane having each of them show up with each of their own music theme.
Yeah, the use of music in this has been really, really good. They've been so good. Another music track that really got me was during the My Trin fight and Scarlet appears, and you get to hear Battle on the Breachmaker.
Yes.
That I was like, oh snap! Oh, it's so good. That was so good.
Breachmaker is definitely one of my favorites. It's one of the big reasons that Nightmare Fractal is one of my favorites because at least in the CM, I don't remember if you get it in the regular, but at least in the CM, you get to hear Breachmaker during that final fight. I love it.
Yeah, it's such a good track. It is such a good track.
So good. I would love to learn to play it on piano, but I am nowhere near that level.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I don't know anything about music, but I feel like it'd probably be pretty difficult.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of keys real quick.
But
yeah, I was pretty satisfied. I think I like that they tied up each of the loose ends. You got to see who Mother was. We see that that's Suwon, and we finally get to learn the name of the water dragon. It's Suwon. Like I said, we get to find out where she's been, what's happening to the magic, what happens when all of them are dead and they're all gone. It was a nice wrap up to everything. I'm almost a little bit disappointed though that Aurene is still around. I kind of expected that she would be gone too and that we would really be done with it. But with her still around, are we really past dragons? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think... you know how, like, most of these expansions, whenever there's been living story, it's sort of been considered, like, part of that expansion?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the next following season will be, like, might resolve that exact question that you just brought up. Like, I feel like we finish this, we'll get our living season or saga or whatever they decide they want to call the next chunk of narrative. And I think that might round things out and end the whole dragon thing. Because one thing that I see too, if you talk to Kunavang, she mentions Albex, which is the other salt spray dragon.
Right.
And she mentions how that she wishes she could go talk to him and find him. So I wonder if that's going to be something that happens in the next season.
Ooh, yeah. See, I need to replay End of Dragons there is a salt spray dragon that we fight right before she reveals herself. Right?
Yes. But
or I guess right after.
After, yeah.
That was not him, right? That was, no. Okay, nope. It was just another small salt spray.
Yeah, you can talk to her right now in Arborstone after the story, and she'll be like, "I'm just thinking of my fellow salt spray Albex," but she says that he's not very trusting of the mortals.
Got it.
But that's all she really says.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see where we go from here. I think that's the big question on everyone's mind because basically every location that was in Guild Wars 1 has been covered besides a few small areas here and there, like the Battle Isles. We haven't gone to in Guild Wars 2. We haven't gone to Master Togo's mansion or whatever it's called.
Minister of Wan's estate, I think.
Yeah, the estate.
I like to believe
which
that after Togo kicked his ass, he took it for himself. So I like to believe it's Togo's estate.
I heard someone call it Togo's estate, and maybe I'm wrong in that, but someone called it that, so I'm going to assume it's his. I do expect that we will go there because it is suspiciously well detailed on the world map.
Yeah, I think there should. Yeah, we definitely should go. We should definitely go there.
There's a handful of locations that I'm like, we're going there later. We'll see it.
Yeah, we definitely need to go. We'll definitely go there. I am hoping for a Battle Islands living season map, whatever, on the Battle Islands. I really want to go.
I'd love to see Battle Isles, and a lot of it is flooded now, so we might see a lot of water-based maps.
I feel like it would be a good way. You could have, like, since it's like a bunch of little islands on the top, perhaps you have like a lot of skiffing around on the top, and then you can have just a bunch of like underwater content. I know people might like loathe that idea, but I don't know. I like it, and you can still do things where like underwater caves, where like you go underwater, but then you go back up, and then you're on land again. You're just underwater. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know that we actually have any locations like that. I think water level is pretty consistent on every level, right? It's like in a world map, the water level is the same no matter where you go.
Yeah.
We never have a cave where we can go swim down into it and then get on land beneath.
Yeah, I don't
other water.
Other water. Yeah, I don't think so. At least there might be. Maybe there's a jumping puzzle somewhere. Maybe, but I don't
think there is. Now that you've mentioned it, I think water level is consistent on a world map. It's consistent the whole map wide.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that'd be really cool. You could do some stuff, especially if you wanted to get into the lore, similar to the Tomb of Primeval Kings. There's another portal to the mists down there.
True. Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
So,
because I think that portal through a couple more steps can lead to the Hall of
Heroes.
So the Hall of Heroes would be a really interesting thing because it's in the center of the mist.
Right.
The Hall of Heroes is directly in the center of the mist.
If we get a mist-based expansion, it either starts or ends at the Hall of Heroes.
Oh yeah. If we get a mist-based expansion, we're definitely going to the Hall of Heroes.
No doubt
in my mind.
Have to.
Because it's in the center of the rift, and the rift is what you have to go through to travel between worlds in the mist. As I learned while doing my research for my daily lore posts.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm super, and the fact that it's on the map too. Just that's one of my top places. I really want to go there. I really hope we get a map there.
Oh yeah, well, just seeing the world map expanded, and it's honestly a little bit smaller than I thought it was based on the video that I saw. Wooden Potatoes did right before the expansion dropped, but a little bit smaller, and like it's faster to scroll than I expected.
Yeah, he was. I think he scrolled slowly, and then when he was showing the footage, he had the footage slow mode. So it seemed like it was very slow scroll to make it very big. One thing I did hear though, if you follow Shaman, there is more map visible than what we can technically see. Like if you pull the map from the client, apparently there is more map.
Yeah, he pulled the tiles, and we can see more in every direction.
Yeah.
Which includes, if you look very carefully, if you go all the way down as far southwest as you can, in the top left or so of your screen, you'll see the tiniest bit of an island. You can see more of that in the
final, in the actual,
in the larger map. The section that's on the western end of the screen, around the middle, just like straight west of Istan, that has more to it. And in the very, very, very top left, there's another island that we cannot see in the game.
So much. Oh, all right.
There's so much more map that we could go to.
This is a quick lightning round. Like, at least I can tell you my 4 places I would love to go. Islands of Janthier.
Oh, yes.
The Battle Islands. I still really want to go to the Wizard's Tower.
That would be neat.
And I want to now go west of Magumba Jungle. I want to go to the coast.
Yes.
To the west.
So for me, I saw this concept a while ago on Reddit, and I love it. I think they should introduce as like placeholder living world maps, like not necessarily full-on living world episodes, but just to kind of fill in some of the gaps. Create maps that are mid-level, not level 80 maps, not another Bitterfrost Frontier or another Lake Doric, but put in a map like on the Tarnished Coast between the Grove and Radasum, that is between level 35 and 45. Give it brand new content that we can all go to because of the level scaling. Take full advantage of that. Someone made a concept of that on Reddit at one point. They put it up there, and I was like, this is flawless. I was like, this needs to be done to fill in some of these gaps.
I would agree, and I think that's a great idea. One of the best benefits, the thing that works well with the fact that Guild Wars 2 has its horizontal progression, is that it makes going to, like, as long as you put, like, different, like, some new minis or some different skins, or you just put something to get, people will go and do it.
Absolutely.
You know,
put a world boss in there that has a rare infusion drop. Do it like, like they did with Chahai Bluffs, where you have the Death Branded Shatterer.
Yeah.
Throw something like that in there.
It's all you have to do. Then it doesn't matter what the level is. People will go.
You don't need a meta. You just throw a world boss in there and regular events, and make it accessible by walking through.
Connect it.
Connect it to Metric Province, and voila, you've got yourself an easy living world episode. You don't have to do much narrative. You've thrown in a new world map for people to play in.
Yeah. Or if you like, you can just literally make. Let's say you have an idea for a little narrative, but it doesn't fit the main narrative. You can have a little map now that has its own little story and its own little narrative going on.
Yeah, tell a side story. Like, you don't have to give us the overarching story, especially now that the dragons are done.
Yes. I might be alone, but like, I'm totally down with if the next season was mostly just like little incidents.
Right. No, I'm totally down with that. One thing that I would love to see, and I only mention this now because I am staring at the world map and looking at it. If you look just to the west of Lost Precipice, now that we can see further west of Heart of Maguma, the Lost Precipice Guild Hall, which is just north of Verdant Brink, look just west of there, and there is a suspicious splash of green within the brown that kind of looks like a tree. Tell me that's not
to the
possibly just to the west, right?
Yeah,
just to
I
the
see
left
it.
of Lost Precipice.
It is
a splash of green right there.
Not
the big green section northwest.
Yeah, nope. But just right there.
Looks just a little bit like a tree. And you know who had a tree out west along the west coast that we never got to
that we never saw? I like it. I
would love to see that tree. I would love to see other Sylvari that aren't that come from Mordremoth but aren't related to the pale tree.
Right. I like that idea. Cool. I can see it. The blotches of green kind of make it look like the bushes or the tree. Like it could be literally.
You could just be the most subtle hint,
like another mother. But something else. I don't know how they do it.
Another pale tree, however they want to call it. They wouldn't have Ventari's tablet and Ventari's teachings.
So they might be more. Their culture would be different.
Their culture would be so different. And can you imagine being able to create a Sylvari player character from?
That's what I was going to say. So speaking of like that, whole new races, as most people agree, probably kind of hard for ArenaNet. But similar to World of Warcraft, where they had allied races, you could do something similar to that in Guild Wars, where you have like the pale tree mother and then like the pale father or something. Let's just say,
right. Give us something like that. Give us some Asura who never left the underground.
Yeah.
Give us another colony.
And they look more like Guild Wars 1 Asura.
That'd be neat. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Like, they never left the underground, so they never evolved the way that the current ones did.
I was gonna say the humans, cool. You can basically already do that because every time they add a new expansion, they add features that make you look more like wherever. So the humans don't really need it, I guess.
Well, I mean, you could do humans that migrated east from Ascalon after that birth. You know what I mean? Like maybe there was a colony who went
that would be so freaking cool.
Right, and
or people who like
Ascalonians,
or like,
but like
the days before Adalburn did the faux fire, people people left. They're like this. They left.
I would love to see something like that.
That'd be cool.
You could do Char from the Blood Legion homelands. Go further southeast in Grothmar Valley. Give us a new. Or just do Olmacon.
Yeah, I was gonna say they already have a faction that would work for that. You just literally become Olmacon.
Let us create some Olmacon. That'd be really neat. And Norn, you could have some that never fled from up north.
Yeah.
That'd be really interesting to see, I think.
What I would love, which would be as a nerd person, huge lore nerd person, I would love if like we go somewhere else and it's the other side of the giant hole chasm that the Norn jumped in, way up north. remember how there's like
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, and like they jumped down and they made it like somewhere else completely far away, and now there are these Norn that exist like on the other side of the planet because of this giant hole in the ground.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that because I don't know. I haven't read enough about it, but like
There's not that much lore. It's just a giant. All it is like a giant hole, and there's a plaque that says like these 4 Norn were brave enough to see, and they jumped in, and that's all we've ever heard of them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Imagine, so if you look just north of Bjor Marches, now that we can see further north, imagine this being the giant hole. There's a big swirl right there. I don't know if you're looking at the world map.
I'm all
the way to the very top above Bjora.
Yep. Swirlies.
That could definitely be the hole. This big circle right here. That could certainly be it.
And there's
That'd be neat.
There's also, oh man, and I'm still like the Blood Legion homelands are still like this everything in the top right.
Oh yeah,
all this.
And this is even bigger than we thought because like
yeah,
this
there's
looks
more.
Like it's a continued landmass, but this is an island as we saw in that shaman's map.
Right.
When you zoom out a little bit further, this cuts off right here,
which I kind of like it. So it's like a island inside of a lake.
Yep, inside of a giant or like a giant inland sea.
Yeah, it depends.
Something along those lines. It's interesting to see Isles of Janthier here are their own. It's an actual island because before we had End of Dragons, this was
it was cut off like right here. Yeah, so it looked like
it looked like a bigger landmass. But we can see now that it's here, and even these smaller sections that we see up top. If you look at that shaman's map, I believe these are islands as well. They are not connected necessarily to this full landmass here.
Right here.
So there's a lot of cool stuff that we could see. But even just looking at what we have now, there's so many locations that we could go and see that we've never even thought about touching. Like Scavenger's Causeway down next to Ore. This whole section has never been touched.
Yep.
Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, we could use there. We still have more of Ore we could do here if they wanted.
There's not a ton there actually because a Raw takes place. It cuts off about much of it.
See, I wish they would just add it to the map.
Agreed.
Even if you can't get to it. So I feel the same thing with Dragonstand, because Dragonstand happens like over here, I think, or something.
Dragonstand is here. Oh, you mean Dragonstorm?
Yeah, yes. Dragonstorm.
Dragonstorm is right here.
Yeah, there you go. I wish they would add. I wish they would add that to the map too. Just add it.
It takes place over Anvil Rock. Which is right here. It was a Guild Wars 1 location.
Yeah.
Primordius comes up next to Anvil Rock.
It was where like the Great Dwarf forged the first dwarves or something.
Yeah, there was a big dwarf event there. I don't remember if it was the Rite of the Great Dwarf. I don't think that's where that was.
No, that happened underground in the depths.
Right. Yeah, Rite of the Great Dwarf is another great
the whole depths of Tyria.
The whole depths. There's a whole underground tunnel system that is now free of Primordius, which we could totally explore. Like a whole underground tunnel system that takes place everywhere. All over the place.
It reaches Cantha.
It does, yeah.
So
I thought that might have been how we get to Cantha.
Yeah,
I'm pretty happy with how we did, but
it was definitely a possibility.
So much to see, even just looking at Cantha, because I think that's where the next season will be focused.
I would assume. They'd probably.
Even looking here, I expect that we're gonna get like a 6-episode season, right? Because that's been pretty standard for the most part. Icebeard Saga was a little bit longer, but Icebeard Saga was really strange because I think they wanted to make it longer and bigger, and then decided to go with End of Dragons instead midway through. And anyway, I expect probably a 5 or 6 episode season to keep fairly consistent. My best bets for that season is we're going to get another Kaineng map, a Ruins of Kaineng map.
Yep, that probably
not right away, but I think we're going to get a Ruins of Kaineng. I think we might see an area here with Mount Kinkaishi, however you pronounce it. I think it's Kinkaishi. We'll probably see that mountain. This area here, just north of Dragon's End, looks a little suspiciously well
the archipelagos,
detailed.
Right? Is that the archipelagos?
Yeah, the archipelagos, yeah. However you pronounce it, I have no idea.
I think yes. Yeah.
Comment section can correct me. I don't know. I think we'll see a map or two here.
I would like that, because if you do this, you can get a map that's like that. Kind of gives me the old Guild Wars faction vibe, where part of it is Kurzik, part of it is Luxon, and they like touch.
Ooh, yeah. Well, yeah, that area in particular was where that happened. I think it was technically right around here, because it was just barely north of Mount Kinkaishi. So I think it was this
There.
one, the peninsula, because then from there you go through here to get to Arborstone, and you go out this way to get to the
Right.
Jade Sea, depending on which faction you choose at that
I
point.
know what you're talking. That's the map that's right out. Is that like right when you finally get outside of Cantha?
Yeah, it's right around here.
I like that. I
So,
love that map. That map's a great map.
Yeah, and
I
you do
remember
see one around here too. So we might see either of those locations. This does look a little bit too suspiciously well detailed, I think.
To be ignored.
To be ignored, exactly. So it'd be nice to see more of the sea.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and
like, I enjoy
islands.
I enjoy Dragon's End, but I want a map with the Jade part that I can just explore without the meta constantly breathing down your neck.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would love, like, I love being able to explore this section here. There's tons of Jade Sea and Unwaking Waters to see. But like, you're constantly under attack. You are under fire all the time. Which is fun, and that's awesome, but give me an area to just explore.
I want some of the Jade Sea where I can have a more... Give me a Jade Sea version of, Seitung province. I want to be able to explore and look around and just see.
Yes, so that's probably 2 to 3 of my picks here. We're going to see an Old Kaining. We might see one around Mount Kinkaishi, and then the Archipelagos. That might be 2 or 3. I don't know if this will be 1 or if that'll be 2.
They might do the Icebrood Saga thing where like this is part 1 of the map, and this and that's the other half.
They easily could. I definitely think that we'll see this estate down here, south.
Yeah,
which is
some way, shape, or form.
Mission. Yeah, the bonus mission pack. It's just so well detailed. There's no way that's that's coincidence.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Especially for how long it's been for that estate to still, like, for them to
be on the
point
map
out that the estate is still there. There's no way we're gonna ignore that.
Yeah, I would agree. We definitely. And then
I think we might see the other half of Xingzhe. I think we might see the western half. There's a lot over there, in the giant bluffs and the peaks. I keep wanting to say Shiver Peaks, but that's not correct.
No,
Sunghua Peak.
Sunghua Peak.
Which is where the fractal
right,
takes place.
that's where the fractal was, yeah? Somewhere on there?
Correct, yeah. So Sunghua Vale took place right around here-ish. It's hard to gauge because the scale is different. But this was the minister's estate up here, up north. On this western end here, you found a lot of the different Tengu. We saw a lot of the Ungchu and the Sinsali.
Over there?
I don't know if they're still going to be there. Probably not, considering the Emperor's Palace and stuff is down here now.
Right.
So I'm sure that the old Emperor booted them all off of the island. And some of them just managed to escape into the forest, which is why we still see them here.
Yeah, right.
But we may see some there if we get to see that half of the map. So that's, my probably 4 locations here.
I think that's fair.
Plus the estate is 5, and then maybe for the 6th, this portion here looks
interesting.
It looks decently well detailed. So either we'll see something here, or maybe we'll go up to the Battle Isles, which I would love to see.
Yeah, I would love Battle Isles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you on. Definitely feel like the Old Kaining will be a map. There is lore and things talking about stuff that happened in like Rizu Palace.
Oh yeah.
So implying that there's something like evil and powerful there.
Yeah, we would definitely see a lot of Risen or Unchained as they're called now that Zaitan is gone.
Is Zaitan's minions the only minions that have a like free form?
They're the only ones that they got a different name as far as I know. The Destroyers are still Destroyers. The Icebrood are still Icebrood. Mordrum are still Mordrum. Branded stay the same. I think Risen just became Unchained because they no longer have their leader, and I don't know. I guess they needed a new name. But,
or do we see any in lore technically after their demise? Like we haven't technically seen any Destroyers or Icebrood after Dragonstorm.
True. Yeah, all we've seen are the Dragon's End Void versions of the old creatures. So we've never seen. We've never seen one afterwards, so maybe they do have a different name. I don't know. It's hard to say. The most likely candidate, I would think, would be Mordrum to see new versions of. But I don't know. Well, we did actually see the weird like Destroyers mixed with Mordremoth magic, and they weren't given a new name. But I guess they still had their master in Primordus now, and not in Mordremoth.
Because I'm curious,
It's
like,
hard to say.
because like maybe it's just because Zaitan stuff is like reanimated, so they exist even when the master's dead. But like, I can see like if the Sylvari or the Mordrum, I guess, are plant-based and their plant part dies, their master dies, they just wither away. I guess if the Ice Brood are frozen and their master dies, they just like dissolve or melt.
Potentially thaw. Yeah, it's really hard to say with them.
The destroyers are just like magma and rock put together. So like if they're not draining from their master, they probably just fucking turn back to rocks and you know what I mean? Like
they could just crumble. Yeah.
Zaitan,
Branded would definitely still exist. Although they may unbrand because if you remember during season 4 when Oreen died, Kaith unbranded.
Does she unbrand?
She starts to, her flowers.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, she wilts. Yeah, it's like
Oreen flowers fall off. So I don't know. I wonder if if the branded would change into something new. It's really hard to say. We would have to get a new map that takes place after.
Yeah, after the events
Krauk's
of everything.
Death,
yeah,
right, but still take place over brand. I'd love to see maybe the area along like Marga Coast in Ilona, which is just east of Sandswood Isles, where Krauk landed here.
That would be cool.
It'd be so interesting to see what they became after he died, and to see what happens next, and to get a little bit more of Ilona. I think that'd be a neat.
That'd be really cool.
A neat way to show off some of the old areas from Guild Wars 1 that we still haven't seen, as well as get to see what the Brander are like after he fell away.
Yeah, I feel like a good wrap up story after the main narrative is seeing like the world without the Elder Dragons, like what happens to their minions, what happens to the damage, their specific type of damage.
Right. And they don't even have to call some of these new maps and episodes like Living World episodes if they don't want to include it as a season. Just call them like break episodes. I don't know, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have the current events side story thing.
Yeah, I guess I just wonder how, like, if they were to do a whole new map but not put it as like a new season episode, how would that fall into the story journal?
Yeah.
Would they put it as a prologue like they did with Grothmar Valley? Would they tack it on to the end of Dragons, or...
Yeah, I don't know how they present it in the journal. I know how they could do things sort of like how they do Fariner and other stuff, where it's like an instance map. It's like a new map, but it's not a world map. It's just like an instance map.
Yeah, I thought Fariner was really interesting. I would love to see more things like that, but I also dislike that we can't explore it outside of the story.
I fully agree. I'm just trying to think of ways where they can add to the map and add areas, but not have to put so much development time as making an actual whole, like, open world map.
Right. Yeah, it's really hard to say because there's so much to this world that we could easily see. If they wanted to expand further, we could go out west and we could see that other continent that we never got to see in Guild Wars 1. Well, at least we assume that that's where that continent was supposed to be. If they want to stick to the current continents that they have, I gave all those locations in Kant that they could do. There's several in Ilona that we could still go to. There's more of the Desolation that we could see with the Sulphurous Wastelands. There's that area where Krauk landed, like I mentioned.
Yeah, there's
a lot of
so much stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of Istan left over. There's plenty of areas west of Maguma.
We still haven't really explored much of Woodland Cascades.
Agreed. Yeah, that was going to be my next point. Isles of Janthier, I would love to see. Even like the areas around Eye of the North. Let us.
I was just about to say, let us go outside.
Yeah, like those areas were in Guild Wars 1. Let us go outside. I would love to see. There's more dungeons and locations southeast of Grothmar in the Blood Legion homelands.
Yep.
Because right around there's a waypoint in Grothmar on the eastern end, in the northeastern end, and that's around where the Guild Wars 1 map broke and it became a different map. We had Doomlore up in the top left of the other map rather than the top right where we have it now.
Yeah.
I guess I should draw a little bit. So Doomlore was like
right there
here, and then we had a split right about here, and then this was its own map.
Yeah, because I remember you could see
separate.
You could see Kralkatorix sleeping in the ground, and this is the emergent zone, which
and then we could even go further south, and in Eye of the North there were two different dungeons, one here and one here, approximately. Within Blood Legion homeland. So it'd be interesting to see
See,
more areas up there.
the reason why I love seeing, I like the green foresty like biome.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would love anything up in this general area. Like my favorite, like I love pre-searing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love.
Pre-searing is gorgeous.
I love that type of biome. I know it might be kind of basic, but like the serenity, like a nice. You have the sun cut through the trees. Like, oh man, you could get some. I love that. I'm a big fan.
There's so many areas. I would love to see more areas in Woodland Cascades, like you said. Originally in Icebird Saga, and you can see this if you go back to the first trailer that came out for it. Centaurs were supposed to be a much bigger part of the story. And they were cut entirely.
Yeah, I hope that what they do is maybe they go back and look at some ideas they had for Icebird Saga, and maybe like work them in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now would be the time. Now we can work about the humans and the centaurs and their issues, or this, that, and their issues. Now that the dragons are gone, we can focus on these more like smaller stories.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's so many, like, while I say that we landed in everywhere Guild Wars 1 did, that's only partially true, because we now have every continent, but there were so many other maps within Guild Wars 1 areas that we can't see yet.
We've hit all...
smaller areas. We've hit more than one.
We've hit the...
Guild Wars 2
yeah, we've hit, like, the big notes, but yeah, we definitely haven't hit everything. There's still plenty of little areas and little places that we just haven't gone to yet.
Oh yeah, I would love to see something that took us, maybe from Harathi hinterlands up to up through here, and took us almost to Drizzlewood.
Right.
Give us a walkway between it, and then a walkway between Harathi. I think that'd be really interesting to start connecting some of these.
Same. This is a classic one, but open up my gate in the Field of Ruin and let me go down to the Desert Highlands.
Oh my gosh! Give us this map. Give it to us.
Do it.
Come on, man.
I want that.
Look, it's the same size as
just slap it.
Just slap it in. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be big. Just throw it in there and make the connect. Don't put it right over to the tomb, but like, I don't know, make it over here. Make it just eastern and cut through here, or like, cut this way. I
don't care how you do it. Just do it.
Or even connect it to Thunderhead. Make all of them connect. Throw one right here. Throw a big one right here.
Boom.
I don't care. Show us more of that Brand Canyon.
Yeah, dude. That honestly, a map like this is like amazing. Because you'll have a snow biome, a brand biome, and like a deserty biome, all in one map.
You can get a little bit of the green that's down here, Desert Highlands, and kind of throw that in along the edge of the.
Yeah, that'd be a very diverse map. That'd be great.
That'd be neat. Yeah, I would love to see that. You get the Ascalon Mountains, you get the Shiver Peak Mountains, the Brand, the desert, and a little bit of the green.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Really cool.
Another area that I've always felt needs something is this one right here.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Like I was saying, Scavenger's Causeway has never been seen ever. Drop something in here. You know what? This is actually, they mentioned this before, if I remember correctly. This area between Ore and the Crystal Desert was just a mad lad fight between the two different undead armies, Joko's Army of Awakened and Zaitan's Army of
Right.
It's a massive zombie just graveyard. Let us see it. I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Throw us in the middle of the Awakened Risen fight, or now it's Unchained and the Free Awakened. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be neat.
That would be neat. I dig that. That'd be sweet.
That'd be really cool.
Another one that I've always thought, this right here.
That tiny little area, and this is what I'm talking about.
This could be a guild. This could be a guild hall or something. I don't know, but
I'd be down with that. That'd be cool. It does feel a little bit small and just a little bit too tight, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's why I don't know if it would work as a regular map, but you could probably do something similar to a guild hall. But your guild hall would have to definitely be more elongated.
Yeah,
it'd be a long haul.
Question though, if they're gonna start adding other guild halls for different regions, because we have one in Kantha, we have one in the desert, and we have two in Maguma, or in Heart of Maguma, I should say. Would this be considered the Shiver Peaks one or the Maguma one?
Yeah, I would put it in the mountains. Make this mountainy, because I think isn't that what divides it? Isn't this a mountain? It's the Steam Spur Mountains, right? Isn't this what?
Yeah, it's the Steam Spur Mountains, but are those part of the Shiver Peaks? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say because Mount Maelstrom is Maguma and Sparkfly Fen is Maguma, but Timberline Falls is Shiver Peak. That's how those break apart. So I'm like, do you want to make this part of Bloodtide Coast Sparkfly Fen Guild Hall? And then throw the Shiver Peak one maybe over here or even way further north? Or do you want to do something different with it? I would love to see other guild halls that come from each different region.
I agree. I would love to see different ones. Cause what about? So there's the domain. Also, how big do you think the domain of winds is? Do you think domain of winds also has this little island? Because you can make this a guild hall. Make this like
that'd be cool.
The Crichton one.
Either the Crichton one or like, I don't know. If I were to see a Crichton one, I would want to see it probably around here. Give us something more like Queensdale for Creta. I think that's more recognizable.
Yeah.
In that sense, this could be the Maguma one if you really wanted to do that. Because Caledon Forest, Sparkfly Fen, and Bloodtide Coast are all considered Maguma. So you could consider that. But I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the cutoff line for Dominion of Winds, right along here. Because it cuts down this whole section right here is Dominion of Winds, and this whole section is Dominion of Winds. Because you can see the wall along here, and along here, and then there's the gate here. So I think this section,
all of this,
is the cutoff. Yeah. So it's all of that. Now we're just getting messy with our drawings, but
yeah, it would just be a weird map to make because it's not.
Yeah, I think if they were going to do it, they could do 2 maps. They could do a city.
I would too. Especially now that we've seen that they can do a portal in between that's just in the water. So you could literally just have...
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's a new tech.
Yeah, so you could just have this, and then you just have like a little portal here, and you skiff.
I'd be super down for that now that we have skiffs. Yeah, skiffs open up a lot of possibilities when it comes to like...
the water map change.
Yeah, how we deal with the water throughout different areas. I think if we're going to see... If they wanted to add guild halls for each region, which I would love to see.
I would agree.
Heart of Maguma already has theirs. We would need one for Kryta. Like I said, I'd love to see it around here. Maybe show us like the mausoleum.
Oh man, the mausoleum! Oh man, the mausoleum, bro! Oh, that'd be so good.
We do know that there's a white mantle base right around here that we see in Living World Season 3.
Which I wish they just put it on the map. I wish anytime we do anything, they just put it on the map.
Right, they did it with Foreigner, and then they didn't do it with anything else.
Yeah, they did it with with the first city, and then eventually they did add Labyrinthine Cliffs.
Oh yeah, Labyrinth Cliffs. Yeah. It's about time that they did that.
It's not labeled, and if you go to the upper layer of Tyria, or the underground layer of Tyria, it loses all art.
Oh.
You have to be on the surface to see it, but it's at least there.
Right, good catch. I never noticed that. But yeah, it would definitely be interesting to see that kind of stuff. So I'd love to see, the mausoleum, maybe focus the Kryta one around that. Give us maybe this one as the Maguma one, or throw it down in Tarnished Coast.
Yeah, that's another spot right here. A Tarnished Coast. This would be a good Tarnished Coast, like that would be a good one, I think.
Yeah, if you want to do an ore one, put it like right in the center here, right? Because we have a Ra, which is down here, and then we have this weird gap right in the middle.
Yeah, perfect.
Make that the ore one.
Pop that in. Yep.
Pop that in. Ring of Fire. Throw one right here. Because this was a whole section we could explore in Guild Wars 1. These islands in particular, which we don't see in Guild Wars 2.
Where's Abaddon's Mouth? Is that Abaddon's Mouth?
It's hard to say because it changed a little bit. I want to say part of Draconis Mons is where...
You would think, right? This is like the biggest...
The islands shifted a lot, so it's hard to say. It might be this, to be honest, but the way that they overlap isn't clean.
Yeah,
in Guild Wars 2
they've changed and shuffled. Because that's another thing too, like the Door of Komali. That's around there somewhere.
Yeah, it's all in there, but it's so hard to tell like exactly where everything falls. Ember Bay though is completely separate.
Right.
So that one's not near or not overlapping with anything from Guild Wars 1.
It's like the island broke. It's like after everything, it like broke the island a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Prime Mortis could have changed a lot of it when he went down there.
Yeah.
So, hard to say. It's almost shocking that he didn't open up the Door of Komali or,
right?
Like that, all of that stuff. So yeah, give us a Ring of Fire one here. Give us an Ore one here. Shiver Peak, I would love to see it maybe along here above Thunderhead, or take it further up and put it around Eye of the North or near Eye of the North. There was a section here. I don't remember what it was called. been a while. But there was a section like right in the middle of that lake that's completely frozen.
Is that where Drakkar was?
No, Drakkar was up here. So it's interesting because Biora overlaps with Drakkar Lake, but only barely.
Just very, very little.
Just this corner is over Drakkar Lake. They do that fairly well. Like this is right where Drakkar was sleeping.
Was actually sleeping, and that's where you fight him, isn't it?
It's very close to where you fight him. Yep. So they did a really good job with that. But yeah, I'd love to see something in the Far Shiver Peaks up here as a guild hall. Maybe even instead of focusing it around like Norn culture, focus it around
Codan. Yeah. Because again, and that brings us back to the Icebrood Saga stuff, because the Icebrood Saga trailer had a bunch of Codan stuff too, like the burial at sea.
Oh yeah, we never saw the burial at sea. We did see a decent amount of Codan stuff with Peter Remark.
Right.
But I would absolutely always love to see more Codan lore. Like I absolutely love the Codan. I hope they become playable one day.
Yeah, I want more on Codan, and where's my Largos? I hope the Largos basically. I hope Largos like took over Battle Islands. If it's all submerged,
that'd be neat. Yeah. There is so much lore there, like that they just haven't touched yet. And now that Suwan is gone, well, even just knowing that Suwan is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, knowing this one is good, we could definitely.
Well, have you talked to Ellen McKay in Kaining?
I don't think I have. No.
If you go all the way to the top of the Jade Monument, you can find Ellen McKay there, and you can talk to her, and she'll be like, she goes, if Suwan has been here for 100 years, then what caused the Crate, the Quagon, and the Largos to run away from their home? There must be something else. That she says this. She goes, there must be something else bigger and worse out in the water.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point, because they only fled because something disturbed the deep waters.
Yeah, and it wasn't Suwan. And then the only other thing I can think of is, have you done the Leviathan event?
I have, yeah.
Keep in mind, that's an adolescent.
That is an adolescent Leviathan.
It's an adolescent.
Imagine the Leviathan striking back now that Suwan is gone.
Yeah. Dude.
Like, what if Suwan was keeping them at bay?
Yeah.
What if Suwan was stopping them? Now the Leviathans come back. Oh, yes, please.
The Guild Wars has always done these things where, like, the center of Tyria has some really messed up stuff.
Some real creepy stuff. And you can, at this point, because the world map is so big, you can hover a certain area of the map and not see any land at all.
Yeah,
like it's fully zoomed out.
Unending ocean
is unending ocean, exactly. Like just north of Cantha, but before you hit that weird middle island to the west.
Yep.
You can see your entire screen fully zoomed out is just unending ocean.
Just water,
also to the
water.
east of Battle Isles, you can do that. But
north to the east and west of Battle Islands, you can go full water.
Yep. Ugh. So much to see, man. I cannot wait to see where they take the next Living World season. I want season 6 so
bad. I know. So this was great, but this was what was expected.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see. Yeah, and the cool thing too is like with this, we know what's coming before it's released, so we already know. When it comes to like the Living World stuff, they're sort of just like, here it is, and here's the new map, and you're like, oh snap, okay.
We get like a week's notice.
Yeah.
We get a trailer a week before, and that's it.
And then off you go.
A week to be hype, and then we're going.
Yeah.
So I really, really, really desperately want to see all that. I think they're gonna wait until after. I think May is probably where we're gonna see it, because we typically, or the release cycle that they were doing before, we see something about every month. It's usually Festival, Living World, Festival, Living World.
Right, and we got Super Adventure Box coming up.
Super Adventure Box should be early April, which it's just over a month after End of Dragons, but I think with an expansion, they might wait it out a little bit more. So we'll see Super Adventure Box. That'll last a few weeks, and then a couple weeks later in May, in early May, I think is when we'll start to see Season 6.
That would be super good. I hope they do. I feel like they do have to keep moving.
Agreed. I think they really need to carry this momentum. I think they did great with End of Dragons, but they need to push forward and really put something out relatively quick.
I agree. They have to keep moving, otherwise, people fall, because that's just the way. One, the way the game is set up, and two, the way people are. People fall off really easy.
I think putting it early May is just over 2 months. It's almost 2.5 months after the expansion dropped, and I think that's a good amount of time for people to get through it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
it's
would
enough
agree.
time for an expansion. Like with the Living World, you want it a little bit faster, in my opinion. But with an expansion, you can give it more time to breathe. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll even wait until June. But with June, then you're pushing into Dragon Bash, and then beyond Dragon Bash, maybe
Although
we have
Although,
Festival pretty
to
quick.
be fair, Dragon Bash, if they see, I'm a firm believer that they should also intertwine some of their seasonal events with things that are going on. This would be the
Mhm.
first Dragon Bash where there's no more freaking dragons. So
That's
there,
true. We bashed them all.
so yeah, so there should be like an event or something that happens story-wise where it's like, wow, I can't believe we've actually, this is the Dragon Bash of all Dragon Bashes. We've
Right.
done it, and then like something, I don't know, you can start putting the seeds in, because like
I think if they were to do something like that with Dragon Bash, they should make it about, because before, when Dragon Bash first started, we thought all of the Elder Dragons were bad. We thought all of them were absolute villains, and they were just forces of nature to be reckoned with. Like,
Right.
so Dragon Bash made sense. We wanted to kill them all. Now that we know, Kralkatorrik wasn't that bad. He just had that torment inside of him. Suwan is not bad, and she's the mother of all the rest of them. Oreen is obviously not bad. I think knowing that, we should celebrate Dragon Bash around Dragon Void. With his like all of the abstract magic that we've defeated.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should kind of celebrate defeating, instead of the Elder Dragons themselves, because now that we know, they're not. I mean, the Elder Dragons weren't terrible.
No. Not really.
From what we understand.
The only one,
a little weird, but
Jormag's a little. I was gonna say the only one that really actually seemed evil was Zaitan.
Agreed.
Because he was because he would be mockery. He'd be like, I killed your best friend, and then I turned him into a zombie, and then I made you fight your friend. Like,
yeah, it's true. Mordramoth maybe a bit too. I mean, Mordramoth was like, I'm a mess with your mind, and I'm gonna make you fight like all of your old memories and all your friends, like they've turned against you.
But he was rudely awakened, and he was very hungry.
That's true. Jormag, on the other hand, was just a piece of shit. They just Jormag, and they're like, freeze everything, because that's all I do.
Well, Jormag was kind of scary in a sense that it's the realest. It's almost like actual evil, like real life evil, because it's like a person who tries to persuade and tries to negotiate and talk, but has twisted intentions that they manipulate, and like it's like real life evil. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely get what you mean. So it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with Dragon Bash. I don't think that they will.
They probably won't.
I was really holding out this year for Super Adventure Box to get World 3.
No, I'm thinking maybe next year. Maybe.
Yeah, because the expansion dropped so close to it, like within 6 weeks of it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see it.
I just don't see it.
And I'm really upset by it, because it's been
I know.
long.
I know. Trust me, I would... Like, you know what I would love? I would love, even if they just, like, wink or nod that it's working. Like, I would love if you talk to Moto, and he's like, yeah, I finished a new level. I'm downloading a patch. We're currently at, we need 365 more days for download.
Oh, that'd be... I'd be like, okay, that's all I need to do.
Yeah,
like,
so next year, the level will be uploaded, and it'll be,
yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Just acknowledge.
Like, year after year, they've been hinting towards it more and more. Like, creatures keep coming out of the World 3 box, and like, we see the glitches show up that have portals to World 3, and like the Choya miners are showing up, and I'm like, just give it to me.
Just do it.
Just do it already. Just drop it. It's been 9 years since the first world dropped, and 8.5 since World 2. Like, it's been so long, guys.
Long.
Come on.
I know. Oh, and I love Super Adventure Box. I really do hope it gets a full... it needs it. Like, please, even if it's just like 1 year is one word. Like, I don't know. I'd even take levels if it has to come out in levels, but just keep making it. Like, even if it's just like level 1 of World 3, level 2 of World 3, and then next year's World 3 of World 3, and then it actually ends World 3. You know what I mean? Like, if it takes 6 more years, so be it. But give me like a level every year.
Yes, please.
So
I want to see the end of Super Adventure Box. Like,
yeah.
Take it all the way, guys. Come on.
They're gonna run out of colors eventually. You can only recolor everything so many times.
Exactly. Like, come on. This is. I'm a little sick of it. Yeah, there's so much that they could do from here on with the whole series in general, and it's such
exciting.
Free reign at this point. Like they could literally go anywhere, and we would have no expectations for it.
And I still wonder if Zoteca will be a storyline, because we still have we still have all the mysteries of the gods, because the whole point with the gods said, or Cormyr said, they left because if they fought the dragons it would be mutual destruction, but now we took care of it. So are they gonna come back?
Well, there's the whole storyline about Lissa. You know what I mean?
And then I'm saying
we're so close that like now that we've killed Balthazar, is Lissa gonna show up? And be like,
is the next antagonist gonna be Lissa trying to get revenge for Balthazar?
Right, and what happens if we get rid of all the gods? Like, well, the problem is every time that a god dies, something has to take that magic. What happened with Balthazar is that Kralkatorrik and Aurene took it for the most part. It was mostly Kralk, but they both got some of it.
Right.
So now Aurene has Balthazar magic. Does that make her a god?
Yeah. All right.
What is happening here? Why is Aurene so powerful, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, but when we started, like, you kind of wish Aurene was gone. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with her now that she's is basically like the sole pin that keeps our reality in check.
Right. Is she gonna play world police from here on? If anything, like she kind of mentioned at the very end in the epilogue that like if anything makes a ripple in the magic, she'll
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, is she now like world police for everything everywhere?
Interesting thing I've realized though is after you beat End of Dragons, you can't find Aurene.
True. Yeah, she's gone.
She's not in the Arborstone. She's not at the Eye of the North, and you can't go back to her island. She's not at her island either.
Ah, weird.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, last time we saw her in the epilogue, it was in Arborstone. So in theory, that's where she would have been.
But yeah,
afterwards. But yeah, she's not here.
But you can't find her. Her model's not there. And if you go back to Eye of the North, she's not there. And if you go to Cantha and you go to her little island cave, you can't get it. It's blocked off, and there's a person there that says she's not there. She's busy doing stuff. I think she's trying to fight. I think it's implying that she's doing stuff over by the Harvest Temple. Like she's still like calming down everything that just happened.
Well, the thing about her cave in Saitung Province is that that whole map takes place before the end of the story.
Right.
New Kaining, Saitung Province, and Ekavald all take place before the end of the story. Dragon's End is the only one that takes place like at the end / after it.
It has the same thing as the dragon. The friggin' all the dragon things sort of have this weird co thing going on. Dragon Stand meta is happening at the same time as you're punching Mordremoth in the face or in the mind. Yep. Dragon Fall, he's being blasted from the outside while you're inside is punching his heart. Yep. Like all these things happen at the same time.
Yeah, Dragonstorm is the only one where that is just what's happening.
Yes.
That's it. There's no alternate like going on at the same time. That's it.
That is it. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, even with Dragon's End, that's correct. There is the meta and the end of the story that both take place in the same location. They're kind of meant to be complementary with each other of what happens, of like taking out Suwon, and then the end of the story happens.
Yeah. It's technically what we would go up there, we subdue her, and then it's the part where we shoot her with the cannon to try to drain the magic. You remember the last story instances we're using the thing to try to exhort. So it's basically we subdue her, and then it enters that part of the plot or that instance of the personal story.
Right. Well, what it is we subdue her within the meta, and then we separate the Dragon Void from her.
Right.
Right. So in the meta, we subdue her, and then we take out we separate the Dragon Void using those cannons right after. So I guess technically speaking, the end of the story takes place right after the Dragon's End meta.
Yeah.
Oh man, the end of that was so satisfying to get the full power of merged with Aurene.
Yeah,
just straight up Dragon Ball Z fusion.
Yeah, you have like 5 dodges and they're like super. Like
They
you're
are
just zipping all over
ridiculous.
the. Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool. It
If you
felt
look at
pretty
the damage numbers too, you're doing ridiculous
ridiculous. No,
amounts.
yeah,
Like crazy amounts.
you're
The one shot
basically you're basically a god.
at that point, yeah. Like it's insane. I want to go back and replay it on a character that has power damage because I played it on my Condi
See,
Revenant.
I was my power soul beast. I was.
Ooh. It's so hard. What I want to
So-
see is a full Bladesworn charge with a
snap! How big? The
much
biggest
damage
number.
can you do in one shot? Like, are we talking tens of millions, hundreds of millions? I do not know.
So
Like,
good.
Too good, man.
But yeah, dude, so good. So that's some of the. So I'm gonna name this video us mostly talking about map ideas because that's basically what we did for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
But because we'll talk more if you're down for more talking and stuff. I would love to
Absolutely.
do more of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But sometime we'll talk more just narrative plots in another time. But is the Dragon Void? Was the Dragon Void there first, and Woos and Suwon separated it to make reality?
Yes.
Is that what it is? So like
So the Dragon Void is all of the magic. Well, she was the only Elder Dragon, so she was kind
Right.
of trying to contain it all by herself, but realized that she could not do so. So she had to separate it into.
But did she create all the the land masses and all of everything that exists on Tyria? Or
No.
So did Tyria did Tyria just exist, but it was in constant turmoil because the Dragon Void magic was just everywhere all the time?
So I've only played through it once, so I'll need to go do it again. But if I remember correctly, Suwon controlled all of the elements, right? I'll just call them the 6 elements, but Suwon controlled all of them. It wasn't quite Dragon Void because they weren't mixing, but Suwon couldn't handle it by herself. So she created the other 5.
Yeah, her children, yeah.
Her children, yeah. So she created Zaitan, Krauk, and so on. And then she told us that she gave them each one of the elements and then took water for herself.
And kept water, yeah.
She had all of them, but she just kept water before. So she was the one preventing it from becoming Dragon Void and all of them merging together, but she couldn't handle it by herself. And she expected Aurene to take her place because Aurene, being the Prism Dragon, could handle separating the different types of dragons. They compared in season 3 to light and the way that light separates
for fractures and stuff,
colors.
yeah.
Exactly. So that's the idea behind Aurene being the one who can do it, because she was the
question
crystal
is
dragon, was more pure than Krauk.
Yeah,
Krauk couldn't quite
handle it. I was just saying, what makes or what I understand that I understand that's why Aurene is special, but how did Aurene become special? Does that make sense?
I think what it was is that
being born at Tyria when all the magic stuff happened.
Partially, I think what it was is that she came from Glint, and Glint had the Forgotten cast special magics on her to separate her from Krauk's grasp. So I think that started the purification process, and then having Vlast was actually supposed to be the one to do it originally, but Vlast couldn't handle it because Vlast didn't have a champion. I think having us there to help Aurene guide and stay pure, along with the fact that she got some of the other magics to begin with before she even hatched. She must have had some Zaitan stuff, and then obviously she got some Mordemoth stuff. We see that at the end of Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, and then
having those combined with the purification process to begin with and a champion on her side, I think is really what helped Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's not fully explained how the circumstances of her birth create the fact that she is.
Yeah, it's kind of done in pieces here and there, but it's never clearly at one point just this is why I am the perfect dragon for this.
Right.
It's done in little bits here and there throughout Heart of Thorns, Season 3, Path of Fire, and so on. So we see those things happen and we hear about them, but you kind of have to gather it all at once to really get the big picture.
Right.
But that's why Aurene is able to do it when none of the others could. And we see as she gathers more magic, she evolves and changes, and then she ascends into an Elder Dragon at the end of Season 4 when she has most of them, but she's still missing the final 3, I guess. She's missing, Jormag, Primordus, and Suwon's magics. Now that she has all of them, she's free to do whatever she wants, I guess. She's insanely powerful. She has the magic of God and all of the ley line magic. All of it.
Yeah.
She could brand the world if she wanted to.
Do you think I can see that happening? Maybe eventually there's a storyline where or something happens to Aurene and we have to subdue Aurene. I want to fight with Aurene, not necessarily kill her, but I want to fight with Aurene. How cool would that be to fight Aurene?
I think what would be really neat is because we talked about like the whole Balthazar and Lissa war thing.
Dragons fight.
I would love to see another dragon. We've got up on the names here. Dragon. That's the map.
Yeah.
Just dragon. I think with the whole God storyline, hearing about Lissa's connection to Balthazar and finding Lissa's jealousy, if they could find a way to, using the Balthazar magic that Aurene has, the gods find a way to maybe control her or take control of her and start going rampant on the earth in revenge for what happened to Balthazar.
That would be a good storyline.
Really, because then it's, yes, we have to fight Aurene, but she's not necessarily the big bad. We have to go fight the gods as well.
And it just makes that thing where it's like we have to subdue and stop her, but we can't just kill her. You know what I mean? We have to
and maybe that's the Mists expansion because all of the gods are in the Mist.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be that'd be good. That would be. I like that.
So much to it. That could be a really cool way. Maybe Lissa tricks her into thinking that something has happened and we've disrupted the magic. Like we're the ones messing with the ley lines, but really it's the gods' power combined. Trying to absorb that magic. I don't know.
I mean, I like it. I'm curious. That is. Yeah, the gods basically have to come back into play at some point. They have to, in some way, shape, or form. They got to come back into play.
I agree. I think it's too important to just leave on a, we're gone. Bye.
Because the incentive, if they were like, because this world is no longer good for us, so we're just going to go find a better one. Okay, but that's not what you said. You specifically said you left because you would fear either dying to the dragons or destroying everything. So you left. If that was why you left, and we took care of that, you would just come back. Yeah.
It's time for you to come back. Like, where y'all been? Like, explain yourselves because you weren't even in your own realms. We went to Grunt's realm. We went to the underworld.
I could literally just see the gods. Yeah, like even if it's not a revenge for the death of Balthazar, it could even just be that they fear us.
Yeah, honestly, with the amount of power and the fact that we now know that we can merge with Aurene and become.
Oh my god! Have god on god fights when we get the fuse with Aurene.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be so
good.
Can
you imagine?
But like, but I can see it. Like they talk to be like, look, this commander killed all the dragons, has a giant elder dragon pet, killed Balthazar, and defeated Doom. Like,
we've done all those things.
This guy needs to get he's scary.
Yeah, we spooky. We've done a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's come back to life. We've come back to life. We're like, no, we're not gonna die. Fuck off.
Yeah, literally, we went to Grunt's realm and we were like, nah, we're out.
Yeah.
We done here. Grunt wasn't there to stop us. So
so later. Yeah, so
and then Doom couldn't stop us. We walk right through Doom like he's cake. That's not true. The Doom fight is very difficult, especially in CM.
But the point is that it does happen. So
exactly.
we are a scary individual. So I can see the gods simply out of just they're like, okay, we couldn't defeat the dragons because it'd be a mutual destruction. But if we all work together, we could probably kill one man.
Right. I mean,
or one mortal. I don't necessarily mean man, but you know what I mean. But yeah. So I agree on a lot of these locations. I definitely think there's got to be something up here. If you do, have you done the jumping puzzle? If you do the jumping puzzle in Old Kyning,
I have not yet.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin things for you. There's a jumping puzzle in Old Kyning. You can find Nika.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, she's up there, and you can talk to her, and she says that she's constantly watching Raisu Palace, and you ask why, and she goes, "There's a great evil power in there."
It must be Zaitan's magic. I would assume, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something else.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'd think, right? But maybe there's something there that the minions want to eat still. Because I don't know if the Unchained still have that thirst for trying to find magic artifacts.
I would assume so. I would assume that doesn't just go away.
Yeah, I would agree. So, yeah, I'm curious, but that I definitely think there'll be something there. I definitely really do hope that we go to Battle Islands. Although,
Battle Islands would be great.
Because, like, if they wanted to just say they were flooded, they could have just not painted them.
Oh, yeah. They could have put nothing there.
So,
which I think would have been disappointing.
I agree, but they went out of their way to show that they exist on the map. So, like, come on.
Give us something.
Yeah.
Give us the ruins of the menagerie. I want to see that.
Right? The menagerie. I would love to see, honestly, any of it. Isle of the Nameless, the broken down Temple of Balthazar, now that Balthazar is dead.
Ooh, yes. Show us that a Largo city has been built there because they had to leave the depths.
I think it's Largo City Central. I think it'd be great because you can have like the islands up top, and then you can also have a bunch of underwater stuff, and that's perfect for the Largos who can go both underwater and on land. I think to me, it's Argos. It's literally Largos City. I feel like it'd be perfect.
We see at least one Largos here.
Yes.
In Cantha, so they are around.
There's the one that's down here that actually starts the Leviathan event.
Yeah.
And then we also. Where's the other one? There's also that dead one on Trachonis Mons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's a handful of them around, and I would love to see more lore surrounding them. We don't see a whole lot.
Yeah,
they weren't in Guild Wars 1, which makes sense because we couldn't touch the water. But I would just love to see so much more to them.
And there's also like, what about the crate and their prophet and their shards, and like, what are the crate worshipping?
Yeah, and give us some conflict and differences between the crate and the Naga, please.
Yes,
because they're not quite clear enough. They're better in Guild Wars 2 than they were in Guild Wars 1, but they're not 100% clear. So please give us more differences.
And we haven't, and like, did you know about the second spirit? They mentioned Urgos, but there's another spirit in Echovald as well.
I must have missed that.
There's another. I forgot its name, but it's a little spirit, and it goes, there's two spirits. So it's Urgos, the spirit of decay, and I am the spirit of life, and like we're the dual spirits of the forest. And it talks about it. So that's a whole thing. There's also the Last Forever tree. That has like one warden that like won't talk but won't fight you and sort of just like stands there. That's a whole mystery thing that they could follow up on.
Also, real quick, I'm sorry, I know that we're going through this, you got this part. I finished this orb catching thing. You loop back to the original spot where it started.
I figured.
And now I can fly.
What? Well, the future's looking good for Guild Wars, and I'm curious to see where we'll go next and when it starts. I'm hoping with you, like you said, that it'll be sooner rather than later, because I agree. They got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I think early May is probably the best bet, right about a month after Super Adventure Box. So
yeah, I'm down for that. We'll put a pin in it and remember to come back to this then, and we'll find out.
Absolutely. That sounds good, man.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I appreciate it, and I will catch you all later. Stay super.